remember, you need 2 credits, 2 fraternal benefit and credits to help you with your Founders Award. So, with that, I'm going to take a little time going over things that many of you are aware of, but we'll keep it about 5 minutes. That's a tough one for me, trust me. This kind of thing, you know. But then Trish is going to be brought on. Trish is one of my outstanding field agents. She's licensed to market our mutual funds. And in today's world, I thought it'd be really important to hear some insights from Trey on the value of putting your investment money with the Knights of Columbus. So, I control the slides. Unlike the TV remote control, I'll be bopping all, zipping all over here just because I can. All right, guys, listen, whatever you hear today, talk to your accountant, your attorney, if there are things, we know our wheelhouse, right? We know things that we don't get involved in. Okay, we're not tax specialists. What we are is protecting life specialists. How does that sound? Forgive me, of course. We learned a lot about Father last night from Father Len, and you know about the history of the order, why we do what we do. Save the fellows that just joined. You'll have a chance to learn more about the Knights of Columbus when you visit with your field agent. So, our principles haven't changed from the beginning. Charity, unity, fraternity, patriotism. But protecting families, you talk about charity, it begins at home. Right? We have some fabulous products. We call them safety net products. Because you can have a great financial plan, but if you get disabled or die, the death throws you a curveball. So much for your plan, unless you have the basis, the foundation of your plan stored up with things like insurance. We have permanent and term insurance. I made a count here. We have, where was that? I think we got the wrong sheet. We have 4 term products and 7 whole life products. Different, each one has a different application. It's not your grandfather's life insurance company anymore, guys. Back in the day when the insurance agent would come and they put a little casket on the chair or on the table in front of the family. Just so they remembered why I'm visiting with you, because you know what? That was usually a mental worry. And they weren't even nice. And they know what that meant. Back in the day when Latin was taught. So we've got term and permanent insurance. Guys, I ask people, do you have a financial plan? Yeah, we're all set. What happens if you become disabled and you can't go to work for 18 months? What happens? You burn through 10 years of your 401k in 1 year. And that's a lucky guy. Young fellows that have young families need disability income insurance. You live a good long life. You don't have something to help you with an extended care issue, something that's a $10,000 expense, which can happen if you have to go into a facility, and most of us, by the time we die, will need some type of extended care coverage. Well, this is part of our plan to keep your assets and your peace of mind and protecting your family in the event that you have to get into some type of facility care. Our annuity products are very unique. It's a contract, not an investment. Talk to your agent about it because it's a fabulous product. And nowadays, with the market as it is, annuity interest rate is 4.1%. And that's a great product to protect what you have. So it begins with being open to meeting with your field agent and learning about what the Knights have. Because I'm going to finish with a story. It's not a good story, but it's an amazing thing. I can't say I've experienced something quite like this. Early in the week, I got a call, as I do as a general agent. Guys, people call me because they have my name over on all over the city. There's this lady from Las Vegas. Her agent is in the Holy Land right now, so it wasn't available. But I took the call, of course, because it's my responsibility. This is a 73-year-old woman. Says her husband is dying. And it's not going to be long. And I need his life insurance money because this and that, right? How do I prepare for this? So I helped her with it, and explained, I'm here for you when the time comes. No problem. We're going to work with you. Half an hour later, guys, half hour later, I get a call, and she's in tears. He's dead. He's dead. I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't believe it would happen so quick. All right. What do I do? Who do I call? And I kind of talked about a few things, consoled her, and said, "Do you have family?" "Yeah, I've got a son in Vegas. I'm the first guy outside of that was told of this." She called her field agent first. She called her field agent first because she knew that the Knights promised that if, when her husband died, she will be helped, not only financially, but I can't tell you guys, at least 5 times, 4 or 5 times. She, in my first discussion with her, she kept saying, "Kevin, I so appreciate the calmness, the clarity." And I thought, who is she talking about here? I mean, clarity of thought? I mean, give me a minute. But she so appreciated my helping her. Like, guys, I want you to remember, I'm just an old field agent, past field agent that deals with these things every day. And your field agent will be working with your spouse. And that's so important. Before she has any inkling as to what's, she can rely on the Knights of Columbus to help. The thing is, I was taken, it was a little shocking actually to be part of this, her revelation that her husband now is going to pass. And she was, and we were there to help her. Drove on what we do. So thank you for your indulgence, sir. But we all have dealt with this type of thing in the past because we deal with life and death situations in our job every day, and we love it because we know it's so important to do what we do. And I just want to, my guys over here in Idaho, and certainly Paul Ford, newest addition Michael Carroll, and Trey Shore. Mike Mockney's wife, he's in this area. His wife Monica has had some serious problems due to COVID. She was in the hospital this week, and now she's at home and still struggling. So keep Monica Mockney in your prayers, please. Okay, so I'm going to pass the baton over to Trey. Where's Trey? Here we are. And Trey's going to spend a little time talking about our mutual fund.
Thank you, Kevin. Worthy District Master, if you would fire up my presentation there. So, Brother Knights, ladies, and friends who may be watching us online, appreciate a few minutes of your time today. You all know that we were created in 1882 to protect the widows and the orphans in our parish, right? In Father McGivney's parish. And that has been our goal for over 140 years now. We have been helping our members guard what they have. Well, in today's day and age, we realize it's no longer sufficient just to help people guard what they already have. We also want to be able to help them grow what they have. So, it had always been our promise to our members, we are not investing in anything that conflicts with our faith, right? You all know that. We are 100% Catholic. We didn't become Catholic last Tuesday. It was actually last Saturday at the Vigil Mass. Thank you. Courtesy left. In any case, like I said, we didn't become Catholic last Tuesday. We are a Catholic order through and through. So we don't invest in anything that conflicts with our Catholic teaching. Our USCCB, United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, gives us guidelines for a responsible Catholic investor. And we follow those guidelines to a T. Now, in 2014, we found that we finally have the skills to bring all of that investment management in-house, so we don't have to be paying fees to third parties anymore to do the management for us. Hey, awesome. Thank you, sir. Oh, I should talk about disclosures. Okay. So we found we have the skills to bring that investment management in-house, and we formed our own team. We formed our own registered investment advisor. Now I'll hit the disclosure slide to tell you that this is not a solicitation to buy or sell securities, and this is not any recommendation of something to invest in. I'm just providing you information, and that's really what I do. I provide you information and allow you to make the best decision for yourself. All right. What makes us different? Well, first of all, we're Brother Knights, right? We are, like I said, a Catholic company through and through. Knights of Columbus Asset Advisors is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Knights of Columbus, which means any profits that Knights of Columbus Asset Advisors makes go straight to the Knights, and you know where the Knights profits go, right? Over $180 million to charity every year. That's what we do. That's what makes us different. There are many, many capable investment firms out there. There are also quite a few Catholic investment firms. We aim to be right there in that intersection, capable and Catholic. Somebody that you can turn to, that you can trust, that aligns with your values, and that also is going to provide you comparable performance to anything else you can find out there. We have a very detailed screening process for what goes into the mutual funds that we've established. As far as I know, we're the only investment advisor with a moral theologian on staff, which I think is kind of cool. That moral theologian follows the USCCB guidelines. We also get third-party data, and like I said, a rigorous screening process. So the investment professionals who have been running money for 40 to 50 years as a team, individually added up, yeah, you get the idea. They've been in the markets for many years. They're picking what's good to invest in. Meanwhile, our moral theologian and his staff say, no, not that one. Sorry. Yeah, I know. They're very attractive because they're profitable, but you can't invest in that. So find something better. And they do. On the left side, mutual funds that we have available through Knights of Columbus Asset Advisors. On the right side, we also offer philanthropic solutions, such as donor-advised funds from Knights of Columbus Charitable Foundation. So, being an investment advisor representative for Knights Asset Advisors, I can offer you both. I can help you through the planning stages of what do you want? What are your goals for this money? And how much risk are you comfortable tolerating? That gives us a score on this risk assessment chart. And I help you walk through 85 different model portfolios for where to put your money and allocate it amongst the Knights mutual funds. So what are some of those mutual funds that you're going to be allocated in if you choose to work with us? Well, we've got cash. You've always got some cash in there for liquidity. You can actually tie a checking account to your mutual funds. Would not recommend this for an IRA account, of course. But if you've got some mutual funds that are non-qualified, you can do this. You can write checks straight from your investment account. Fixed income, these are our bond funds. Right? Bonds are thought to be more conservative, right? This is debt investing. You are loaning a company money, and they are obligated to repay you with interest. That's the basics of bond investing. We have two bond funds, limited duration bonds and core bonds, which are a little longer duration. And then active domestic and international equity. What does active mean? That means that the investment managers are looking at the mutual funds and looking at what's doing well right now, what do we need to sell right now, what do we need to buy right now. Domestic, everything in the US, international, everything outside of it. 7 equity funds, including long-short equity, which is the fund that last year returned over 10%, which is phenomenal. Especially given last year, pretty much everything else was in the negative teens. So that long-short equity fund provided some ballast to our portfolios, so they stayed kind of above the curve there. Pretty cool. So I will not go through all of the slides of this presentation in detail because I know we only have a limited amount of time, but this is a compliant presentation, so if you'd like, just ask me and I can send you a copy of it. Let's detail some of our returns for the last years. Next important question that you should be asking is, how much does this cost me? Platform fee, meaning this is the fee that you will see. If you are in our diversified models, meaning you have at least some equity funds, you're going to pay 80 basis points, which is 0.8% of what you got under management. Now, our minimum annual fee is $90 per year, which means that we also have to have some investment minimums. So if you've got an IRA or a Roth IRA, then you're going to be at a $6,500 minimum. If you've got a non-qualified account, it's going to be a $10,000 minimum for the initial investment. Because we don't want to be charging you more than we feel like we can really make in a year. So if you start out by putting $100 in, you're going to get a fee right off the top. Wait a minute. Putting in $100 into this account, you're going to charge me $90 this year? How am I going to make that back with only $10 in my account? This is not good math. Okay, so that's the reason we have investment minimums to get into the program. Now, if you want to, you can call up Connecticut and you can get access to any of these funds individually, but it's a $25,000 minimum investment. Or you can call me and you can get in for 10. And of course, your account is under $1 million. That's where that 80 basis points comes in. Once we get you up over $1 million, then you got lower fees, which is very nice. Once you get over $2.5 million, then the guys in Connecticut will be calling me up and saying, "Hey Trey, you need to turn them over to us so we can give them even lower fees," which is actually a very good deal for you. All right. Like I said, this is a compliant presentation, so we've got lots of disclosures and reference material for you to take a look at if you want to look into some of that in print. But at this point, what's the conclusion? Knights have always offered our members the chance to guard what they've got. We're now offering you the ability to grow what you have and ultimately to give what you want to give. And we can do that not only now through our insurance products, but also through investments that are compliant with our Catholic faith. Great State Deputy, do we have any time for questions?
Yes.
Okay, so with that, I'll open the floor for some questions.
That's right.
Sir,
Can you explain, you explained the charges, can you explain sales charges or 12B1 fees with the Knights of Columbus?
thank you, Brian. I always ask that because I always forget to mention it. Okay, many of you who are familiar with mutual fund investing, you know that there are different classes of shares. You got your A shares, your B shares, your C shares. Most of these will have a sales charge included. So not only are you paying a fee every year for the management, but you're also paying a fee to get into the fund or to get out of the fund. With the Knights funds, they are Class I shares. You are treated like an institution, which means there is no sales charge. There's no front end load. There's no back end load. There's no annual 12B1 fee. It's just that 0.8% per year. Thank you, Brian.
How strong is the company?
How strong is the company? How strong are the Knights of Columbus? I don't think that our worthy general agent mentioned this. The Knights of Columbus has over 125 billion of life insurance in force. We've got about 30 billion in assets now under management. No direct debts. Standard & Poor's ranks us in first place for financial strength and stability. The company is pretty darn strong. Thank you, Dave. Yes, brother.
Where do we go again to get this information, Russell?
Give me a call. Follow me on email. Not on Facebook anymore or Twitter, but you can find me on LinkedIn. But I've got plenty of business cards if you want to come pick one up. Thank you. Right here in the second row. Second delegate, Council 17059. Worthy call forward.
For the field agent trade, what is the average or standard fee for managing funds by most brokerage houses?
Many investment advisors will charge 1 to 1.5%.
So Trey, since you're the only licensed person out of our agents in the state,
So far.
can you cover everybody in the state? So any of us can give you a call?
I have to, yes. So, I'm to any of you. That's why I got a second business line, so I can turn it off on Sundays. Right.
Trey, you mentioned the Catholic friendly funds and how the moral person goes through and how explain to them how often that's reviewed to make sure those investments remain Catholic friendly.
How often that's reviewed?
Or I really asked, I know the answer, I just want them to know the answer. But it's, when a company comes into our mutual funds and they, I guess, revert back to maybe doing things that aren't necessarily Catholic either, that they are removed, the shares are sold and they are removed from the fund family. They can get back on. So it's not like once somebody is in the Catholic friendly and we just leave them there, if they fall back, we remove them from the funds as well. It's not just who we put in, we'll also pull them out again.
Yeah, it's not just a one-time look at them and say, okay, you're good for life. Like I mentioned, we have a moral theologian on staff, and this is full-time staff. There are people working 40 hours a week, making sure that our funds stay compliant with USCCB guidelines.
And Archbishop Laurie reviews that as well.
Do you have fixed index annuities or are you planning to bring fixed index annuities into the investment portion?
That's a great question. Above my pay grade, I'm afraid. I don't get to do product design. However, since we do actually have an index fund, we do actually have mutual funds, it is possible that at some point in the future, they may bring some product like an indexed or variable annuity or even life insurance into the mix.
The securities licensing that has to occur in order to market that, and it could happen as we grow our Series 65 field agent base. Possible.
So it is possible. But that does bring me to a point that I wanted to make, is that we are now capable of doing much more comprehensive financial planning than we ever could before. Because now that we're on both sides of this equation, we've got skills to really help you out. And so, for instance, some of our investment clients, they've said, hey, bonds have been returning diddly squat in the last couple of years, but I got a guaranteed 3%, 3.5% of minimum annuity. It's never going to fall below that. What do I need bonds in my portfolio for? So the investment team said, okay, we'll develop some portfolios that are strictly equities. People can move their funds to their bond that can't fall below 3 or 3.5%. And then they don't have to have bonds in their portfolio. So they got a moderate investment risk tolerance, put 40% in their annuity, they've got 60% in the equity funds to take advantage of the growth there. Okay.
Just to be clear, you're saying that once you're in a plan, that you can change it around to different investment strategies if your situation changes?
That's correct. Yeah, you can call me anytime. We can make a change.
You have any investments in Anheuser-Busch?
I'm going to bypass that question. Not into the specifics of exactly what's in every fund rate.
Is the management fee that you're speaking of, that 0.8%, is that for all of your investment groups, like bonds, equities, and so forth? So
Correct.
Straight 0.8%.
Straight 0.8% for the whole portfolio. Now, one of the advantages of doing what I said with the annuity is that 40% that's going into the annuity, that has no fees. Yeah. Because that's what our insurance products offer. Okay.
How many companies are in your various portfolios?
There are a lot of companies in the portfolios.
A lot being
A lot being anywhere from 20 to about 100 in some of the funds. So if you would like, you can take a look at kofcassetadvisors.org, or if you spell out KOC, that's KOFCAA.org, it'll get you there. Can't remember how to spell advisors. You can take a look into the mutual funds in a little more detail. You can find the summary prospectuses there as well. Well, I think that's going to pretty much wrap us up.
Thank you, Trey.
So thank you all, brothers, ladies, and friends, for your time today. Kevin, you want to land the plane?
Fill out your survey. Okay, fill out your survey. And thank you. So fill the survey out, just leave it at the end, or leave it at your chair side, or shoot them down to the end, and we'll collect those. We really appreciate your feedback. If there's anything you'd like, just make note of this, make note of it. If you remember your council number, put that on there as well too. All right, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing that. Please fill out your survey and, when you're done, pass it to the end. When we see that we've got most of them, I'm gonna call a break. But just take a few minutes right now. It doesn't take long to fill out one of these surveys. When we return to the room, we're gonna have to have a